Welcome to Legal and Lucrative, an interview series from CFO Accounting Services. In each episode, we sit down with attorneys to talk about the real side of running and growing a law practice. The people, the challenges, and the decisions that don't always show up on a balance sheet. We'll explore leadership, balance, and the financial realities of firm ownership, and share practical insights to help attorneys build practices that are both successful and sustainable.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me today. Again, I appreciate you taking the opportunity to spend some time with me. And I just have 7 fairly quick questions on your firm and how things go with that, being also a business owner in your practice. So let's jump right in. Will you share with me what inspired you to start your own practice and take the leap into that leadership role?
It really was just wanting to be my own boss. So I tried to find someone else to be my own boss and didn't have the Spanish speaking capabilities that were required of understandably of associates in law firms here in the nonprofit space in Arizona. And I knew I really wanted to take the cases I wanted to take and decided to give it a go. And a fellow immigration lawyer actually encouraged me. Her name is Ira Solano, and I will always be grateful to her. She is who encouraged me to go out on my own and actually charge clients for my services because for about 5 years I had done all pro bono work. So I'm thankful to her because it's allowed me to help a lot more people than if I had been doing all of this work pro bono. And then also, of course, help a lot of people have jobs, and jobs are really important for families and life. So it's good stuff.
And what has surprised you most about running the firm?
I think that it's essentially a personal development program. So you don't realize how much the business brings out all of the things inside you that need developing. And every day is a new day to work on yourself a little bit. And it's through the lens of your firm. It shows up and shows you lots of areas for opportunity, but it really is just a personal development program. And those of us who have a lot of work to do, I think that's when we see a lot of growth in our lives and in our businesses because we just have so much personal development to do.
So true. So how do you balance being both a lawyer and a business owner and managing clients and the team and your personal life?
I love being a lawyer. I think that you talk to some folks and they could really take it or leave it, but I love being a lawyer. I just get a lot of my own identity out of the idea of being a lawyer and being able to read something and find ways to help people with that. I love being a counselor at law. Like I get to kind of be a therapist to people through the lens of legal advice and probabilities and making decisions. I love every aspect of that. And I really consider myself an artist in that way. Some people are artists because they can paint, and some can sing, and some can dance. And for me, it's like this emotional aspect of helping a client through a difficult time against the lens of legal analysis. So it's really fun for me. And then the aspect of running the business, I don't know that I'm ever going to be good at it, but it is something that's really, it adds a lot of variety to my life. And I think that all of us crave and desire some variety. Sometimes I wish that it would calm the F down and it wouldn't be so much variety, but it does add a lot of variety where every day is something new. Where I think that if I didn't have that, I don't know that I would enjoy being a lawyer as much as I do.
I love that. So when you think about growth, what is your main focus right now? Like more clients, stronger profits, a better team, something else completely?
Customer journey and really just making the customer journey excellent and focusing on that with removing every obstacle physically possible to having a really great customer experience is my focus right now. And that means putting a lot of energy and effort into stuff that may not seem profitable necessarily, but it's really meeting clients where they're at every step of the way and giving that kind of attention to detail. I think it's what sets us apart, but it also creates really bought in employees because they see what we're trying to do. So yes, we're trying to get more cases filed. Yes, we want to do it more efficiently, but it's also because it helps clients who right now are going through a really difficult time. And also it provides so much value to them for us to be obsessed with the customer experience.
Very true. Okay, so what's your biggest financial challenge as a firm owner and how have you tried to tackle it?
I think that when you're trying to grow, you need to hire people. And sometimes we have to be very mindful of not getting upside down with payroll and always kind of pushing the envelope on exactly where we're comfortable being outside of our payroll boundaries. Like we have a budget, and that budget is for me like always an idea. It's like a recipe that you don't have to measure everything exactly. This is not, we're not baking a pastry here. We're like cooking a meal. And so you can kind of use it as guidance rather than something you're strictly adhered to. And that is the challenge, is you want to hire really great people. And as your bottom line and your revenue grows, you're able to do that more and more. And at the same time, sometimes you feel like you're just not quite there. You really need to hire this person, but you don't have the revenue for it. And so that's always the challenge for me in terms of money. But there's always ways to make more money. And it's just to go out and be more creative and help more people.
Great. So how do you make important business decisions?
I try to talk to a few advisors. So one of my longtime advisors is Louise Scott, who runs a company called Eight Figure Firm. I'm not affiliated with them or anything, but I am super grateful for his guidance and wisdom. I like that he has a lot of other law firms who do work with him. And so he has data. His ability to see, like, oh, this is what's happening nationwide in 30 different immigration law firms helps me not live in a vacuum, but it also helps me not believe different little stories. So during 2025, we could not get the same leverage that we had been able to get through our Meta ads, for example. It was so good to be able to talk to him and say, yeah, nobody is. It's not just immigration firms. Because I had told myself, oh, it must be that Facebook is suppressing immigration firms or something like that, or it's the administration's impact on clients being afraid. And no, it was everybody. It's impacting everybody. But had I not known that, I would have just kept hitting my head against the wall. So I think having a few really important advisors at the table with you. And I think those seats need to be minimal. You talk to too many people and you can't make a decision then because you're giving everybody the same weight. But having a couple of people who you can pick up the phone and call helps me make really important business decisions.
Makes sense. So looking back, what's one thing that you wish you understood about the business side of running a firm earlier in your firm's life?
I wish that I had been more diligent with giving feedback to people before letting them go. I have a lot of, I won't call it regret, but it's definitely something that I have scar tissue around, an issue I have scar tissue around, because it's interesting. And this kind of goes back to my last answer, which was it's so important to choose your advisors wisely. But I was getting some advice from folks who have just a different, it's not right, it's not wrong. They just have a different approach to letting people go. And it was a very abrupt aspect of today's your last day, not give any feedback, not give any answers, but pack your crap and I'm going to walk you to the door. And I believed that that was how everybody did it. Cause I worked in a law firm for 14 months, fresh out of law school, and resigned because I got stationed overseas. So I had never seen anyone get fired. I have never been fired, and I have never run a company. So you get this advice from someone who's telling you how this is supposed to be done. And then years later, you realize the trauma that it can have caused your employees and the trust that really was broken down. So I have a lot of regret around that, because it's much easier to give difficult feedback and no one be surprised if and when they're let go than it is to look back in time and wonder, was I really fair with that person? Because you can't go back and do your best anymore. You can only Monday morning quarterback yourself at that point. But I think that giving feedback is such an important piece of working together.
It's good. Good. Thank you. Okay, last question. What would it take for you to feel fully confident about your firm's financial future and growth potential?
I feel very confident about it already. So I'll try to think through what those things look like. One of the aspects that has helped us feel very secure, even when we've had lower than expected, even by significant measures, of new business coming through. So in immigration firms, new business coming through is usually very important. So we are always out having to generate new customers. Otherwise, we it's a little bit hand to mouth in some senses in that way. Not in a bad way, it just is what it is we have payment plans. And so really early on, I got advice from a guy who, his name is Hector, and he's also an immigration lawyer, and he has firms across the United States. And he recommended that I do a payment plan structure rather than a half down, half at filing, because basically then you just get 2 payments. He said, look, you can get on a payment plan structure and never have to worry about payroll again. And that has absolutely been the case. So I started doing payment plans. They're about $400 to $500 a month for our clients. They span over the course of sometimes 2 to 3 years, depending on how big the bottom line is for their case.
Mm-hmm.
And that has helped so much because as time has gone on and you add another $500 to that, like we call it a snowball, that has started out really small and grows and grows and grows, that has provided us with a lot of security. And it's also helped us be able to get like an increase in line of credit pretty easily every single time we've asked for it, because we have historical data of this is how much money is coming in, irrespective of new business. This is how much money comes in. And what's amazing, and this is just a testament to my client base, it's not to me at all, is we have a 92% collections rate. So
Wow.
we have clients who we don't get any leverage on them or whatever, like a bank would do or something like that. But I think this truly is a testament to the immigrant community, honest, hardworking, wants to do the right thing. And that is not only something I see in my daily life working with them, but it's supported with dollars and cents because they show up every single month and bring in usually cash. And so that's a whole complicated thing of making sure everything's secure.
Yeah.
But I'm really grateful, not only for that advice and that ongoing security, because it helps us make sure that we've got all of our bills paid by having that payment plan snowball.
Yeah. And that's great because it's helping them
It
get to
is.
it faster and
It's
helping your cash flow.
beneficial.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
right.
And then it's a big investment, but it
Yeah.
can be processed mentally, kind of like a car payment.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that's all my questions. Again, thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Legal and Lucrative. A big thank you to our guest for such an honest and insightful conversation. For free tools and resources to help improve cash flow and profitability, head over to www.cfoaccountingservices.com. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. We'll see you next time.